This story begins in 1871. Bernhard H. Meyer, a talented metal engraver and entrepreneur, founded the family enterprise by setting up his workshop in the small German town of Pforzheim, a place that came to be renowned for jewelry and watchmaking. A testament to his talent, in just a few years, the Meyer name became synonymous with high-precision craftsmanship in precious metals. By the late 1800s, the reputation of the Meyer brand and its high-quality craftsmanship had spread far and wide. They soon received their first contract to create commemorative medals for European royalty and nobility of the time. The new century proved fortuitous for the Meyer business. It was a time of great prosperity in Germany. Rudolf Meyer, Bernhard's son, took over the family business and expanded it to international markets. The Meyer name became truly international at the World's Fair in Paris in 1900, where they were awarded a silver medal for their creation of a medallion commemorating the new century. In 1936, the House of Meyer was chosen as the exclusive manufacturer of gold medals for the Summer and Winter Olympics in Germany. This is the year that Jesse Owens famously won 4 track and field gold medals. The winning streak for the Meyer brand continued into 1937, when the House of Meyer was awarded a gold medal at the World's Fair in Paris. This would be the last expo held in the city, in a final enactment of the ritual of peace and progress before the deluge of World War II. The war did not spare the Meyers. Rudolf's sons, Bernhard and Eberhard, went away to serve in the army, and the bombardment of Pforzheim left the Meyer family's factories and workshops in ruins. But with the same persistence and dedication that led its founder to start the historic brand, the Meyer family went on to rebuild the business. In 1961, the Meyers were back in business, stronger and better. At the height of his success, founder Bernhard H. Meyer has developed a passion for engraving pocket watches, which were an important status symbol of the time. Little did he know that his hobby would one day lay the foundation for the modern Swiss timepieces from the house of Bernhard H. Meyer. In the 1980s, in a nod to its numismatic history and a tribute to its founder's passion, the first limited edition Bernhard H. Meyer coin watches and coin jewelry came out of the Meyer atelier and proved to be an immediate hit. This was the beginning of a new era for the Bernhard H. Meyer brand. Since then, over 100 models of timepieces have been lovingly handcrafted by master craftsmen, passionate about quality and perfection. By the mid-2000s, the new and improved Bernhard H. Meyer brand moved its base to Switzerland, the mecca of watchmaking, lauded for precision and pedigree.
Seeing the creation of a watch from the design stages to the moment the watch starts working, to me this is pure magic. Like the birth of a baby when it starts breathing and moving, a moment of passion. I am forever inspired by the idea of giving our customers a product that fills them with pride. An object that is so beautiful and perfect that it fills the heart of the owner with joy for many years thereafter. That is the Bernhard H. Meyer family spirit.
I was born at the end of the Second World War, a war that devastated most of Germany, including my city of Pforzheim, and completely erased my family's factory buildings. As an infant, my father carried me on his shoulders through the rubble of the building that was once home to our manufacturing business. My father and grandfather, together with other family members and several loyal employees who had survived the bombardment of 1945 and the war itself, took shovels with their bare hands and cleaned up the rubble. Step by step, floor by floor, they rebuilt the entire facility and wasted no time in restarting production. They picked up where they had left off and began conceptualizing, designing, and manufacturing the finest luxury products, once again showing the world what the name Bernhard H. Meyer stands for.
My kindergarten was 1 kilometer from the manufacturing facility, so from a very young age, I've always had a lot of exposure to the business. As far as I can remember, I was always surrounded by samples of coins, jewelry, watches, precious metals, and the factory. My father would always pick me up from the school and I'd spend time there while he was working. For me, it was a massive playground. I was mesmerized by everything that went on, the designers, the mold makers, the steel engravers, the goldsmiths, the watch master craftsmen, all the machinery. There are so many different professional skills involved and stages to luxury product manufacturing. And back then, we also assembled other products. I remember I was maybe about 5 years old, seeing a huge shipment of car hood, wheel, and steering wheel ornaments with a horse logo. I asked my father, "Papa, are we producing this?" I remember him smiling, and I couldn't express it at that age, but I felt very proud.
One of the best parts of my active business life has been working and traveling with my son, JR. While my father and I mainly focused on the Americas as the dominating export region in the 60s through to the mid-80s, by the late 80s, our top market demand had pivoted over to Asia and the Middle East. In order to ensure continued growth, we knew we had to adjust, adapt, and accommodate the new reality. Conquering new regions seemed like an exciting challenge young JR and I were ready to take on. And so we began to build our business in Asia and the Middle East, all the while learning much about their ways and traditions. I remember once during a visit to clients in Asia, we introduced ourselves as father and son and explained the family business. Our new client at the time remarked, "You are a father and son team. That is what we call a flying tiger." When he noticed our surprised faces, he elaborated, "When a father and son work together as a team, it is as if they were a flying tiger, because they can be in two different places at the same time."
My father was always on the phone. And this was in the 70s and 80s. So day and night, you would always find him on the landline with a client or a supplier. When he wasn't on the phone, he was hosting clients from all over the world. Government officials, royal family members, multinational conglomerates. I'd always see him welcoming them and talking business with them. I remember one particular meeting we had with central bankers from Asia. It was for a very important commemorative coin for the father of the nation. Now, when a government official requests for a coin to be minted and commissions you to do it, there's a mountain of requests to commit to in terms of design, detail, some painful constraints in delivery time, price, and other complexities of the project itself. My father always handled it so beautifully. So seeing him in action during that meeting the way he dealt with any and every challenge that came along, calm, focused, and always smiling. That was one of the many times where I remember being completely in awe with him. As a young man, I looked at him and I thought, I have big shoes to fill. A family business really is a 24/7 job. Whenever I take a moment to think about it, everything about it fascinates me, still to this day. From around the age of 10, 15, the family business became an even more regular thing for me. At 18, I started helping out with international VIP customers. Up till that point, my involvement had been informal, and my new university life gave me more flexibility in allocating my time. I had a lot of exposure and I was often present, but there were no expectations from my father's side nor mine. When I was 22 years old, that's when everything changed. I was studying for an MBA. I was doing okay, but I had no sense of urgency, no burning desire, and no compelling reason. One day, my dad called me and said, "Fly to Asia tomorrow. Represent me in this big project. Talk to the customers and close that deal." I said yes, and my initial motivation was just go on a trip and skip uni for a week. But while I was on that trip, it's hard to describe, but I suddenly found myself completely in love with what the business was about. The factory was always a big part of my childhood, and it was just so normal to me that I took it for granted. On that trip, I suddenly became a man on a mission. I finished my studies as quickly as I could because I couldn't get enough of the working life. Right after finishing university, I was just always on the road.
He was always a doer. JR has always had a respect for craftsmanship, the miracle of creating perfect products. As a boy, he never wasted any time being idle. As soon as his school holidays started, he would insist to join me at the factory. Even though he was so small and could hardly reach anything, it was impossible to take him away from the workshop. He wanted to find out everything about these mysterious machines, the master craftsmen, and the fascinating work they performed. He would spend entire days at the electroplating department. Whenever a copper or brass product was dipped into the electrolytic bath and came out covered with shiny gold or silver, he would watch in awe. I could see it in his eyes. The process absorbed him completely.
He's a man of principles, a man who lives by the value of a handshake. Never, ever sacrifices his integrity for the sake of a commercial gain. He would rather lose money on a prestigious project than not deliver what he had committed to, what our brand stood for, a man of his word. He's a true luxury connoisseur with a big heart and a great talent for connecting people. And by that, I mean much more than just talking or welcoming them. To make sure everything aligns from the design stage to when the customers finally receive the watch or the jewelry in their hands. That's an enormous undertaking. The designers, the blaster mold makers, the steel engravers, all of them are strong, talented people, but also sensitive, artistic souls and minds. Engaging with multiple departments and component suppliers, there are a lot of egos to deal with, and more often than not, it comes with a high amount of resistance. I feel like I really started to get to know him when I started working with him. To me, growing up, I always see him around and he was always dad. But when I started working with him, when I saw just how great he is at what he does, that's when I got to know him as a man. Connecting all the elements, that's where my father is absolutely brilliant. And as I got to know him more, I got to know myself better. Our evolution as a brand over the past 150 years has been a fascinating journey. From my great-great-grandfather Bernhard Heinrich to now the sixth generation, my son Louis Ishwaran, each generation in the Meyer family is born with so much history. We have renewed the business many times. You can't plan for the unexpected, but the same goes for opportunity. For my great-grandfather and grandfather, that big moment was in 1936 when our family was commissioned to mint the bronze, silver, and gold medals for the Berlin Olympic Games. Jesse Owens was one of the proud winners of these amazing medals. He won 4 gold ones that year. And the funny thing is, after the Olympics, he lost one of them and we had to mint a new one for him. We found out a few years later that one of the medals was sold at an auction house. Fast forward a decade, when out of total destruction, my father and grandfather revived the business, literally rebuilt it from the ground up.
Our strength as a family business over the last 150 years has been based on integrity, discipline, and quality. These are our 3 core values in dealing with our customers, employees, and all business partners, while striving for perfection in our services and products. For over 100 years, we were a B2B organization. Thanks to our strategic partnership with the QI Group and the vision of Dato Sri Vijayeswaran, we are now B2C with a truly global brand presence and customer base. Where luxury items were before reserved for the elite, now through QNET, we can deliver our finest work to everyone.
Going B2C with QNET was a game changer. Many changes have and will continue to take place. The only constant is our tradition of excellence and the timeless family spirit. Because that's what makes these things we create so special, our people. There's no feeling like having millions of people love something you've created, proud to own a Bernhard H. Meyer watch or jewelry. We're constantly evolving, and that's what makes it exciting to be reborn, time and time again.
Now, with the dawn of a new age, my vision comprises reaching new shores, employing new ways of communication, new ways of serving the needs of mankind, and creating the finest products and services while always honoring our tradition of excellence.
Many years ago, a bright fire from the sky hit the ground and burned it, leaving blue-violet rocks in between the ashes. Named after its place of discovery, these gems are said to be rarer than diamonds, only found at the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro. The tanzanite industry has helped empower the country's economy and its people for many years. In honor of its history, our master artisans crafted designs to highlight the uniqueness of each gemstone, bringing out their dramatic beauty and paying tribute to the fire from the sky that gave us this exquisite gem. Introducing the timeless tanzanite.